Welcome everyone to my quick 2 cents about Apple's Vision Pro, their vision for spatial computing, so they call it, what otherwise call AR, mixed reality and stuff. You probably have seen by now the specs. That is of course a very high-end execution of headsets that otherwise are already on the market for many years. Of course, I understand the most premium execution, displays, cameras, sensors, and so on. Not necessarily the best, certainly the most expensive, and I think you should not buy it. Hear me out, because obviously, as Casey Neistat even himself said, this will be the worst Vision Pro Apple ever made. It will age as amazing as the first Intel MacBook, which was 32-bit, or the first iPhone or iPad, which was so slow that it didn't receive updates 2 years later. So from this early adopter standpoint already, you shouldn't adopt it, but hear me out, there is more. Of course, since other thrilled YouTubers, you can of course watch all of them and don't want to steal their precious content. Of course, there are high-profile developers who unbox it and tell you how amazingly it is designed and how well executed, with what precision and what amazing. I want to point out my findings, my takeaway of summarizing that and what I've personally seen so far myself when I work with these things. It is, in my opinion, a $4,000 paperweight. It is not good at anything, not even video conferencing, right? You see here, it might be good at watching movies also. Please excuse the YouTube buffering. YouTube is the last days not happy with me for some reason, despite having over 500 Mbit. Yeah. Because even, let's go through it. What is it for? I would say, and by the way, I'm a total tech adopter, right? I grew up with the state-of-the-art 386. I do program as I always wanted. Well, my family couldn't afford. We never had the latest and greatest. When we had a 386, I wanted a 46. When we still had a 386, I wanted a Pentium. I wanted to be an early adopter, right? And we were playing Quake and Doom and stuff. I was even the last years considering to buy some Oculus Rift or other such things, primarily for my use case for gaming. I have not, because the previous headsets were of course not amazing enough. I would still buy maybe some $500-ish, whatever the latest and greatest regular gaming headset is, because for me the only use case basically would be gaming, like Project Cars, some space or flight simulator and stuff. What Apple presents here, basically, in my opinion, the Apple Vision Pro has 0 killer apps. They might come, certainly that is Apple's gamble. I would say it's highly unfinished, quirky, even over-advertising, because all reviewers say the eyes outside are not most visible. They of course do that to be less creepy, right, for all the other previously failed mixed reality things to be less creepy. Reviewers also found other things of not working the most reliable like it is for a first gen project. But if you watch Casey Neistat's video, which probably you should do of course, which I will not steal his precious content, he does something very interesting and which I found the most noteworthy. He walked through this, of course, like he does through New York City. And there you just, in my opinion, see how creepy of an experience that is, right? If you go through here. And that is basically, to summarize this quickly for you, my primary takeaway, which already knew when Apple announced it. And I want to point out now before people waste $4,000 or euro. It is an absolutely creepy experience that, do you really want to walk around like that? And the short answer, of course, is no, you don't. Is this, and that is also being an early adopter and computer scientist and stuff, I want the latest and greatest stuff, right? Give me Epic, give me Threadripping, give me 8K displays, give me everything, but that is not what I need. Even so, the only thing for me, and of course I understand other people's use cases are vastly different, the only thing for me would be gaming, and this thing is not yet even good at gaming, because Apple was never a gaming company. Of course, they have other things, and like movies, but honestly, the thing is movies, even it's not good at movies or other 3D stuff, at least if you're not doing it alone, because if you think this through, this is a completely not thought through project category. Because if you use this for high definition video and stuff, you need, unless you are a social creep and living alone, you need one for each of your family, right? And then for you or your significant other, maybe a child or two, then you're speaking about 2, 3, 4, or I heard some have even more, 2 kids, 5 Apple Visions in your family. Is that not a nice family gathering, watching some latest and greatest movie together on the couch in arms with 2 creepy Apple Vision Pro headsets on your head? That being said, so even movie, yes, unless you always watch alone, so the Apple Vision is for people, for singles who save money not buying a TV and so on. But then even if you subtract the cost of a TV that you then save, you don't need a fancy TV anymore and stuff, it is certainly still expensive. And do you really want to have such a Vision headset the whole day on your head? And I would answer, even as a total tech geek here, I would answer no, I don't. I don't want to even sit an hour and work with this. The problem is also additionally, you can't even properly work with it, right? The crazy stuff is all the YouTubers present, of course, very surprisingly, I find it very creepy. Watch Casey Neistat's video. I find it absolutely creepy. Walking like that, just look at that, right? Of course, not stealing his content, right? Go watch his amazing content. Total fan. The irony is Casey Neistat comes away, spoiler alert, maybe pause now, watch his, but at the end, he says, this is the future of computing, what everyone promised and he's looking for. I have to disagree. As the irony is, I find it totally creepy, and Casey Neistat's that is the future, it is amazing, although he says whether you should buy it, first gen and whatnot. Even Casey Neistat says, as impressed as he is, this will be the worst Apple Vision ever built, because obviously the next generation will be better. But that aside, I don't see most people, 99%, working like that. Because if you just look at that, it is highly inefficient, right? You buy such an overpriced thing, even if you, New York City or stuff aside, I don't see myself sitting like that in the office, right? It's a totally shaking, blurry, unsharp experience. Probably even my 15-year-old NEC Multisync 1080 plus P resolution display is probably sharper. I mean, obviously there I have my Huawei MateView 28-inch 5K or whatever display, 5K plus whatever display. 3x2, by the way. I rather spend, this display was 550 euro. I rather spend 550 euro for 28-inch 3x2 display for high productivity, super sharp text and stuff, and not this blurry thing and whatnot, which then you have on your head and you sweat and stuff. Not even some people makeup and stuff. Luckily, I don't wear makeup, but even I would not want this stuff sweating on my face for even an hour or two. Imagine working a 5 to 9 computer science job. I'm aware it could be for some people. I even make a list. The list is very short. So for example, I could see this like it historically has been, since even the SGIO2 stuff. And spoiler alert, I was so on the frontier of computing. I used such things on an SGIO2 in 1998. I was there when they showcased that on a demonstration for medical remote telemedicine operation and stuff. I even was touching the remote feedback things there for operation stuff. So Apple is of course late, not only with latest and greatest gaming headsets, but even in the grand total scheme of things of SGI has been there, done that 25 years ago. I understand this is still a high-end device, just that of course Apple has not invented it as usual. I can see this, as I said, SGIO2 medicine, right? CAD, computer-aided design, engineering, architecture, medical. But so that is basically it. Of course, for those rich people that have more money than sane people can imagine, of course they can just go out and buy this for some movie watching alone, if nobody else is talking with them anymore. I don't even see that being particularly amazing for video conferencing. So you could say maybe it's amazing for video conferencing, but many YouTubers, also here who partnered there reviewing that, said that this personas, so this thing can scan you and make a 3D representation of you to FaceTime and stuff, looks creepy. And so I would even argue for 3D persona, 3D representation. Also, yeah, YouTube is fucked somehow also. Oh, sorry, no, I transitioned. Oops. Wherever that is. Oh, this is the focus. Darn it. If YouTube would load. The future is now. Do we have at least 0 frames? I would even argue FaceTime, when I FaceTime with my child, I would rather prefer, I mean, also FaceTiming with my child, should my 3.5-year-old, even if he would be 12-year-old, should I FaceTime with like 2 Vision Pros, and then it looks like garbage. Also, yeah, I already suspected that this will, oh no, I posted already. Yeah, somehow YouTube is cursed the last days. Just look this video yourself. Many people agreed that this personas looked creepy, and you could argue like the one outstanding feature that they could have of scanning your 3D representation, the people found creepy and not very lifelike. The hairs were static, not very natural and blurry and stuff. Of course, they pointed out that do we have that there? That it is an engineering marvel and it looks interesting in context. I'm not sure why it totally doesn't look like that. But I mean, just look at the thumbnail if this ever loads again. I was already thinking, should I illegally dump the video before live streaming that? It's like, yeah, last but not least, so yeah, video conferencing. I would argue video conferencing with a real camera is more natural, and like you spend $4,000 for a verse video conferencing experience. Like basically, because you see always a pre-scanned old representation and not how your child, your significant other looks, like really looks, not like some 8 years old scanned avatar, not are they sad, happy, and so on, right? And all the background and toys your child might play with, or things like basically the 3D video conferencing experience right now is verse. So you basically spend $4,000, give or take, for a verse experience of working. Yes, you can pair this with your Mac, but without a Mac or so, there's somewhere here, like just think that, I mean, that is somewhere else also keyboard, right? I mean, this is just laughable, right? As amazingly presented as it is of happy YouTubers saying it is amazing, I see a more realistic of not being given it for free for review, or maybe some purchase that, but being even more happy of having $4,000 to enjoy the latest and greatest tech project. As an outsider, observing what I see is it is a arguably worse experience in most things except 3D media or other media consumption. Working on that, again, here somewhere was even a keyboard at all of them. So there's a virtual keyboard, of course. I mean, literally typing on even the oldest keyboard I can find in the basement. I mean, obviously even typing is orders of magnitudes faster, right? Even my, I mean, given that unfortunately my eyes are even not the best, so even the correction lenses for my eyes with astigmatism and stuff would probably even at the border of what Apple offers so much to. Unfortunately, these days, many people, all statistics say is people these days have worse eyes than decades before, which certainly because of all the low distance reading and media consumption and smartphones and stuff. So that is, I'm not the only one. So you even would need the matching lenses, right? And then it's also like, if, I don't know what percentage of 40% of people or even more, I could have fact checked that, but a huge percentage of people have prescription glasses, and you can't then not even swap it, right? Like with you and your significant other, when there are correction glasses in there, so much to your $4,000 investment that you can't even easily instantly share. Plus, of course, the custom, medium-sized, whatnot, sized cushions there for a snug fit, and so on and so forth, right? So, long story short, it is an extremely expensive toy. Of course, first generation and stuff, certainly overpriced for their hundreds of millions of development costs for the hardware and software, financing that just like you would do with any other first generation product. Certainly more targeted to developers, because at this point of time, I would say there is not a single killer app. And even media consumption, unless you want to sit creepy, socially awkward at home alone, maybe rather save $4,000 and sometimes go to a cinema, or like even I myself at the forefront of technology, having a freaking beamer projector and just enjoying PlayStation derived Ultra HID content with your loved ones and neighbors and friends and family together in a less social, awkward, and probably higher definition version at home. Leave me in the comments below what you think. I think it is pointless. I would argue, of course, there needs to be progress. I applaud Apple nonetheless. That is, as I said, an extremely high-end executed version of that. I just see no use case for me except gaming, maybe 3D design. I understand there needs to be experimentation. I certainly applaud Apple for putting hundreds of millions, if not $1 billion, in research and development of augmented reality development and starting new platforms. It might totally flop, like remember Ping or the Pippin or all the other projects in between that were not particularly successful at times at Apple. It could totally flop. Maybe it wouldn't if there are enough people, rich people, who just buy it for media consumption, and maybe not. I actually think theoretically it could be made well for either 3D conferencing. For example, even myself, the irony is I, with my tiny little Linux channel, when I'm in conference calls with people from big companies in the industry, you guessed it, Adobe PDF and stuff, and other from Kodak and Fujitsu and so on. So the usual stuff that I would work together with document scanners and PDF and stuff. Ironically, my tiny little company with my tiny little YouTube channel, I usually have by far the best video and audio. No surprise with my YouTube channel. You will not believe what other companies do with their cheap PC laptop and stuff. So I would say very theoretically it could be made, not in this version, because in my opinion these personas do not look particularly nice, and you do not have the surrounding visibility of all your presentation material. But of course it could be made an outstanding teleconferencing platform, which currently it isn't. Maybe that would be a killer feature. However, given that even today my tiny little company has the best audio visual installation, despite the unpainted wall there, because I have no time and money for painting the wall, but given that today my tiny little company has the best video and audio setup here, I'm not sure if big tech companies would pay $4,000 or even $2,000 in a next generation low-cost version for their employees to higher quality teleconference, which is a shame, because sometimes the Bluetooth audio of some people I teleconference with is so horrible that I barely hear them. That being said, that's basically my summary. This will be the worst Vision Pro Apple ever made. Wait at least for second generation. I don't see a killer app. If you have one, leave some comments below. Probably gaming, but then of course it's not the preferred and most ready-made gaming setup. Maybe this will change, of course. It could, of course, transform Apple as a new gaming platform if that becomes the most polished, sophisticated 3D gaming platform, but right now they are not strong in games. Of course, this could change this. Let's take a quick look at the comments, but not too long, because usually then we talk another 20 minutes. That's probably basically everything I wanted to say for that. Oops, this is also, yeah, exactly, that probably would be better with what other notes that I had. yeah, that basically were the notes I made before that. However, all right, I wanted to say one more thing. I wanted to say two more things. So the one more thing is that I really appreciate Apple putting billions into this development. If spatial computing, as Apple calls it, should be the future, think Star Trek Next Generation, Star Wars and stuff, right? Then I would argue we need really groundbreaking technology like a holodeck or other holograms, right? Not having these glasses. However, that would look like some tricorder of smartphone beaming that visually into the air out of nothing. And there you see, this technology would be amazing, right? I mean, obviously, give me a holodeck already for all. I mean, that would obviously truly be fun to enjoy with your significant others and kids who would not want a holodeck next to them. And the second thing is, so there needs to be some true innovation without this crazy headset, right? Even Casey Neistat says that at the end of the video, saying like, yeah, maybe it becomes as small as, I mean, I'm not seeing it getting as small as fancy sunglasses anytime soon, but we will see. The other second thing is, we should really think if this is really the future we want for humanity, because even today, with the spread of fake news and conspiracy theory, people already consume too much media, obviously, even myself included, with our growing YouTube community and Discord community and stuff, and then even checking business. I had, as I said, I'm not a naysayer and an old man yelling at clouds. I had the very first iPhone even before it was in Germany, because I bought one when I was in the States, when it was USA only. So I'm an early adopter when stuff fits me. And the first generation iPhone, which I still have here in my collection, fit me for doing email highly efficient, when most business partners were laughing at me why I have this shady, strange iPhone and not their high quality Blackberries. So the iPhone made sense for me for real web browsing and email on the go, certainly. But this not, right? I don't want to go like that. And that is, do we really want this to be the future, where people already today, I mean, the irony is, as much as I YouTube here and computer science, when I'm outside, I'm usually, and that is the crazy part, right? When I'm outside, train, plane, bus, even playground, right? I'm with my child in the playground in this COVID times and stuff, and I'm one of those parents who is steering the least on an iPhone on the playground, right? Just go out there, your next bus, your next subway, even in a freaking restaurant. Have you realized how times changed? When I was using my Sony M600E or what it was before the iPhone, in a restaurant and answering some emails in that good old times 20 years ago or whenever, everyone stared at me like, how can I sit there with my phone? No, I am left to be one of those in public who is using the phone least. Sure, I use it sometimes. Certainly I'm also already addicted. But my point is, most normal people these days stare on their phones of total social media addiction, of scrolling their TikTok, Twitter and Telegram channels, or WhatsApp communications. Nowadays, everyone constantly need to be connected and write their friends, family, significant others and parents each small thing, or make freaking photos of their bloody food. And my point here, coming to an end of this, in my humble opinion, is this, as seen here, illustration purposes only, in case of Casey Neistat here, is this really the future we want to live in, that everyone not only stares all day long on their smartphones and watches, and then even have totally alternate reality headsets and totally distance themselves from each other and do not speak with each other at all anymore in the public. That is certainly, in my opinion, the biggest problem of all of this. I mean, just look at this uncanny scenes here of, do you really, it's like, yeah. Also, this is probably unfocused. Why is this not? Oh, some more space does not trigger that. It's like, is this the future? It's like, yeah, you have some butterfly thing, and it's like, yeah, that is certainly, that is what you buy. I mean, of course, is this what you spend $4,000 for, to watch dinosaurs or whatnot in your fast food? It's, yeah. I rest my case. Leave in the comments below, maybe if this works, like, what, I don't know why YouTube is not happy the last days here, for whatever reason. Go watch these videos, their workflow, their... all right, the only thing, Marcus Brownlee, one use case I give him credit is, he says, working on flights, although that is certainly not a every day's a desktop video, desktop audio muted. That was clever. Anyway, he says working in an airplane. Okay, I give him that indeed. Although I would still argue, if you edit your PowerPoint presentation or even video editing, I am not really sure how much more efficient it is, because his use case is he could see himself editing his YouTube videos in an airplane. Okay. However, even there he immediately says, yeah, but right now only one screen. It's like, no, his normal video editing is like editing preview, and currently you can't have like two virtual displays. Okay. Also, he says it's a little bit creepy currently when he edits video of himself in an airplane and people watch him. It's like, yeah, but do you think it's really less creepy? Sure, the other people don't see the video you edit, but you still sit there, and is this really that much less creepy? Or yeah. Plus, of course, I really wonder how precisely you can really work with this kind of not 100% pixel perfect vision and representation of your controls and fine control of video clips and other small buttons. Anyway, that's basically it, in my opinion. First gen, never buy in this particular case. I don't see any use case or killer app, certainly. Yeah, a product waiting for the killer app. Last but not least, I don't know. It is extremely creepy. Do we really want that? That certainly is reaching Matrix land, just without the Matrix. Rather give me a holodeck already, then I'm up there with that. Let's take a quick look at the comments. It's basically a warning and reality check, right? Because I understand people always get thrilled. I myself, latest AMD Threadripper, Epic, yes please, SGI Octane, other high-end gear, best camera, more pixels, and so on, faster gaming, GPU and so on. Yes, wanna have, but just wanna save you and your family wasting thousands of dollars for something that, in my opinion, you will probably most likely regret and will not find that much use for and otherwise. Last but not least, mostly I would say waste your life. If you want an experience, maybe if you want a better health and experience, maybe just go out into the mountains, walk with your kids, go like playing. And that is the thing, right? You have already a computer, a smartphone, a watch, and now the Vision Pro. Do you really want, I mean, just look at me fixing open source bugs each day, but do you really want to hang all day long in social media and artificial reality? When is enough? I would say at Star Trek's holodeck, but until then, maybe go out, breathe some fresh air, relax your eyes, because it's also like, do sports, go sailing, go walking, go cycling, go climbing, get some fresh air, move your body, meet people, have some real fun. Because last but not least, like health-wise, yeah, then you need to, or you make fitness apps with that, but otherwise, certainly your health might further deteriorate. Especially, I don't imagine that can be the best for the eyes, which certainly I myself already ruined too much with staring on displays, but it's probably another order of magnitude of worsening and making your eyes short-sighted even more. Leave in the comments below. Yeah, again, as people I see, there already 3K MacBook. Basically, and that's the thing, right? It costs 4,000 freaking dollars or euro, and it's not better except augmented 3D at anything. For $4,000, you get a high-end computer and display, and are probably orders of magnitudes more efficient, even in CAD modeling, video editing, and probably still have some pocket money to spare. And then you can still spend 500 for some other, like if you sometimes want to do some 3D gaming, which in my opinion mostly is still the primary use case for things like that, which the Mac wasn't good at, right? You want to do some race simulator, you end up with running Wine, Windows games on Wine on a Linux PC anyway. So yeah. How quickly we degraded. 10 years ago we had nifty Google Glass, and now the horrible mid-20th century futuristic style had Sledgehammer. The future is neural sensor, augmented. Yeah, oh wait, for the brain implant, although I'm a little bit skeptical how many of Elon Musk's lab humans will pass away. Augmented reality, vision, the technology is there. Whether it will happen in lifetime is another question. SGO2, composite video output, I bet. I don't remember what video output that was. I remember this were already 3D glasses. I think it was, as far as I remember, it was some completely closed headset already 25 years ago. Ah yeah, I fixed it here on. Yeah, I've seen the ITEA, thanks for pointing that out. iFixit Vision Pro, I've seen the teardown earlier today. Yeah, it is, I said it's a technological marvel. So yeah, go there, watch that. Of course, a repairability nightmare. Of course, it looks nicely designed. I give Apple that, although every reviewer agreed that the outside, whatever they call it, visual representation stuff was barely visible and sometimes didn't show the eyes at all. Of course, Apple is very good. Many reviewers said Apple is very good in the marketing material, hiding the battery, right? So, I mean, a tiny little bit cable here. I mean, you have this thing and then always carry the battery, which, spoiler alert, only lasts 2 to 4 hours, obviously. And I also should point out that if you watch a long movie, the battery time of 2 hours, 2+ hours might not even be enough for longer Hollywood movies, right? Of course, Apple, but you see here already, like the apps, right? Like you see there, you saw there shortly apps, and like here, this is absolutely pointless. Apple basically has themselves not found a killer app when they represent you classic apps that are more efficient to use on a conventional computer with regular displays, that you can operate orders of magnitudes faster with keyboard and mouse and stuff. So, I mean, yeah, you see, I mean, obviously they will not advertise it, so that looks not particularly outstanding for them. So yeah, it is, of course, tightly integrated, as you would expect from a multi-billion-dollar company. The cable is hard snap-on connected. One crazy detail I find is that a reviewer said you can't switch it off, which I find rather strange design decision. So you put it on a table and eventually goes to sleep. It's like due. It doesn't have the longest battery life. Like, why not look up to the settings, power off or whatnot? I mean, because the reviewers even literally said you put it there and after some minutes it go to sleep. It's like, and it's like due. Battery life conserving is certainly not Apple's thing. So reviewer said this Slice, interpolate, render, eyesight display thing is very low resolution, very not good looking. Like basically every reviewer agreed that this is over, like this is not how it looks. In a way, fake and false advertising. In reality, it looks way less resolution, way less colorful, way darker, and so on, as per usual, as per advertising. Oops, no, this was also the wrong button. Yeah, is there anything else to say? Yeah, repairability nightmare, everything glued together. There is an M1 and R1 in M3, I believe, in there. M3 and R1 or so. So it's basically a MacBook. And then you would wonder if, like, maybe in the future they separate this, like why not combine this with an iPad, make it half the price, and have an like iPad batteries, mini iPad thing in your pocket or whatnot, get costs down, you have some cable connected thing. Anyway, it's somewhat a little bit pointless, but it is what it is. Yeah, that's it inside. Not last but not least to mention, sweating all day behind the glass. Most women or other people using makeup, not myself, worrying about their makeup, smearing also this stuff. I wonder how dirty this foam will be after some days of makeup. Plus your hairs and pressing and having signs then, and in general being somewhat uncomfortable. So very few benefits and so on. People suggest I need uBlock Origin. Yes, I had this previously. YouTube already works so shitty. I did not want it to irritate YouTube further. If not, somehow YouTube has already issues. Probably they don't recognize my T2 Linux generic Firefox. So whatever's up with YouTube is also in case he knows the video plays. So yeah, leave in the comments below how creepy experience you want. Is this a Matrix future you are looking for, or do you want a Neuralink direct brain cross link anyway? Right, I posted that. Someone says, see many videos of people driving Tesla with wearing the Vision Pro. Yes, I actually, very good that you remember that. This is absolutely creepy. I posted that to our Discord, which of course I now also forgot, also focus. I posted that here in meme category. And also excuse delayed loading, this is just a Steam Deck. So I'm live streaming from highly efficient, power efficient, high performance APU here. Where do we have here that right? So yeah, this is absolutely mind-blowingly creepy cyberpunk future. I have questions, and I have more questions than this thing answers. One quick look to the comments. Don't want to be judgmental. I use my own family for phone. My own family for phone. I had to buy Apple products by Apple. I take care of understanding IT, but Apple will be next in line to fail. First time made the product fail. 3D meeting, even in 2D. Really good people paying attention. Live demonstration or screen, or even tend to listen. Yeah. I would also say, unfortunately, due to the way most people, the crazy thing is most companies, I mean, we do very little remote teleconferencing stuff, mostly ISO and similar meetings for our PDF train and other paperless office scanning stuff. And so we do it very little, but I understand many big mega corporations overdo meetings. And I certainly realize the tendency that most people are not very engaging and active and paying attention to meetings. That is certainly, I think, totally agree. Now all the stuff scrolled. So yeah, somehow 2024 comment scrolling is still sucks a little bit. I have to scroll back and forth here to 3D. So there was Apple, so only Apple product bought was 3K MacBook Pro and it died. I'm sorry to hear that, man. That sucks. Trust their computers. I mean, yeah, I said this before. In general, Apple products are, of course, made of somewhat higher quality standards. But I said this before, certainly every second product here, Apple product, had some serial manufacturing defects, right? The polycarbonate, I mean, starting with iBooks cracking cases and feet falling off. At university, not me, but other university friends had their iBooks multiple times repaired. Top case breakage, other things. Personally, also, yeah, I was affected from Mac iBooks, the GPU micro soldering issues there of BGA bolts cracking regularly. Even the G5 failed on me. It was working splendidly until like one day it just switched off. In warranty, the PSU was swapped. Certainly, like, point is, Apple, despite all their high-end design, Apple products still have strange low-quality manufacturing defects. My first Retina MacBook Pro had this image retention issue, right? And so on and so forth. So yeah, so on average, every second Apple product, I mean, not even Bendgate, right? I said it before, iPhone 6 bended as they did, thin aluminum. Yeah, people agree their Commons dystopian awaits us dystopian future. Yeah, that is my takeaway, right? You basically spend $4,000 for a not very useful product for a dystopian, socially awkward, canny valley future. Also, you can't wear their monitors on your head. Sorry, Sunday humor. And it's not pointless. It's cheaper than 4 times display at 4K each. Yeah, but the thing is, it still makes you less productive, right? Even spoiler alert, I said this a couple of times, for decades, I'm a single display user, right? If I'm not live streaming, the only time I use 2 displays is actually YouTube live streaming. All the time, I don't quite like this multi-monitor stuff. Does not work for me. I just do Alt-Tab, right? Or it's like, for me, multiple displays is just waste of money and energy consumptions. For live streaming, I get this. But for like really like code and design, I'm an Alt-Tab, right? It's cheaper. I can concentrate better because when I turn, I constantly need to refocus. I understand that some people love it. I'm just not a except YouTube video broadcasting, live streaming and stuff. I'm just not a multi-display switcher. And then I wondered, sure, you save some displays, but you have less input control and are slower orders. Like, do you really have a benefit? And then I also would say real sophisticated displays are way sharper, right? So you have this $4,000 display in front of your eyes, but it will be less sharp working on fine details, right? There's only so much resolution plus also 3D projection. So this will be significantly less sharp of an image for working on fine text details and media stuff. But of course, it's not made for this, right? I would say it's mostly made for 3D multimedia consumption and not for working. This is the irony, right? It's a gaming virtual reality thing. And you see now I am multi-monitor and I don't frequently searching my mouse. That's exactly why I Alt-Tab. It's like here, like, right, is this, sure, you have multiple displays, like, but don't tell me that this is a sufficient replacement for true ultra sharp displays. I would not say so. So one last check at the comments. Also can't wear, woman don't sweat on men, do perspire, ask them. Okay, happy to stand corrected, can't wait to see ads when woke up. Your best time prepared, CRM rate, Powerful, long live the old MIPS, MacBooks, they were the best. You mean PowerPC? Every manufacturer will follow the trend Apple will create. I mean, Apple is late, right? There was even Google, right? I mean, basically, Apple is super late. There was Google Glass or whatever. There was Microsoft whatever, HoloLens. So all the other companies, of course, not of course. I mean, because it's the failure of all the other companies just proves what niche, awkward niche thing that is. Plus, of course, Oculus, Quest and Rift and whatnot. I don't even. The stuff is in general so uninteresting that I do not even know what is the latest version of all the other things. Leave in the comments below what is your best VR thing. And I very seldomly have met people who use those really much, right? But leave in the comments below what's your best VR thing. And again, just get some 500, like if you're a gamer, probably like anyway. It's not like your PC games would run on that anyway. So yeah, every manufacturer will follow in quotes of like, yeah, Apple as usual, just perfectly and overpriced other people's ideas after they failed. And other manufacturers will only follow if this will become a hit. That this will become a super hit, I have huge question marks. That is it in my humble opinion. Hope you enjoyed to learn something. Go outside, do some nice things like I will do now. Don't waste your money, vote with your wallet. Have a good day or night, and I hope to see you soon for all the next fun stuff like 3D, SGO2. Maybe we soon do real 3D with some Oculus Rift thing. Also, certainly not spending $4,000 on this vision thing. Highly efficient, super productive. The future is now.